Good morning, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Myriam Leva with United Insurance Experts. United Insurance Experts is not affiliated with or endorsed by the government or the federal Medicare program. We do not offer every plan available in your area. Currently in Palm Beach County, we represent 10 organizations that offer 49 products. Please contact Medicare at 1-800-MEDICARE or online Medicare.gov to get information on all of your options. The purpose of the show is to educate you on Medicare and to connect you with valuable resources. So wishing everybody a happy Saturday. Today, I would like to discuss some important topics regarding Medicare and scenarios I've come across in the past few weeks. To begin, let's explore the differences between Medicare Advantage and traditional Medicare. Now, this is like the main topic, and I always say this is like the hot topic and a significant debate about which option is the best option for you, right? Should you stick with original Medicare, also known as traditional Medicare, or consider the alternative choice? And I always say alternative because they don't go together, right? You could either stick with original Medicare or get that alternative option as a replacement to original Medicare, which is Medicare Advantage, also known as Part C of Medicare. You typically face this decision when you first become eligible at age 65, or perhaps at age 72 when you retire and transition from your group plan, or maybe you might be around 74 and find that your group plan no longer suits you, so you want to get Medicare, right? As it could be a better option for you. So no matter your age, and this is the question that most eligible beneficiaries are faced with, right? Which route to go? So in 2024, Medicare Advantage enrollments reached a record of 33.8 million, accounting for 55% of the Medicare population. This marks a significant shift from 2007, when only, I think it was 19% of beneficiaries were enrolled in these private plans. So one of the biggest factors that I've seen why people are going towards that Medicare Advantage are because of the lower monthly premiums, right? And the additional benefits that are provided through these plans. So, and actually for 2025, it is projected to go up. So one of the things I always mention is there's nothing wrong with Medicare Advantage plans. We have to see what your needs are to determine which path is the right one for you, right? So I'm going to go over some of the benefits and some of the concerns about Medicare Advantage plans. So let's start with the benefits, right? What are some potential benefits of Medicare Advantage plans? So Medicare Advantage plans often offer additional benefits such as vision, dental, hearing. Maybe some offer these over-the-counter credits, transportation, and meal services that traditional Medicare does not cover. So when I say additional benefits like vision and dental, a lot of times it's more of a preventative and not so much of a detailed, right? One of the biggest things that I get is, am I able to get implants, right? I don't see those kind of services being offered, but it all depends on that plan. And it's just good to look into the benefits of coverage, right? Or that evidence of coverage to see what is covered in these additional benefits before we select them. So many Medicare Advantage plans offer the potential for lower costs, right? Although there may be some out-of-pocket expenses, several of these plans provide reduced premiums, right? Not like we've seen on the Medicare supplement side where there's a premium every month if you decide to get a Medicare supplement along with original Medicare. Most of these Medicare Advantage plans are zero or a very low premium depending on where you're located, right? Some of the potential concerns with Medicare Advantage plans that I often see is that you're restricted to a network. So for many, this could mean that you could only see doctors or facilities within that specific network to receive care, right? So if there's certain doctors or hospitals that you go to, you have to make sure that these doctors or facilities take the plan that you're going with, right? It's not, hey, doctor, do you take Medicare? It's more, hey, do you take the specific carrier and do you take this specific plan? So not only do they have to take the carrier, they have to take that specific plan. So again, this is something very important to look into. Well, this trend may be viewed as a positive change, potentially providing greater coverage and additional benefits. It also brings up concerns, right, regarding reduced choices. And that's one of the biggest things that I see, right? That network limitation, that restrictive networks, and possibly, and this is a big one, the inability to purchase a Medicare supplement plan. All right. So these are one of the concerns that I see when I speak to individuals that would like to select a Medicare Advantage when they're first eligible. So see, when you are first eligible for Medicare or when you're new to Medicare Part B, typically you have a 6-month guaranteed issue where Medicare supplement plans, also known as Medigap plans, can't say no to you. They have to take you. Right? There is no medical questions, or they're not looking at pre-existing conditions. So this is one of the major things where people get concerned, where they're like, hey, if I take a Medicare Advantage now, can I just get a Medicare supplement later? Well, you can, as long as you're able to pass the medical questions and qualify, right? So that's one of the things that I've seen where people say, you know what, I'd rather do that Medicare supplement as I don't want to take that risk later, right? As you know that in the future, you want to have that flexibility to go wherever you want, because that's one of the things with traditional Medicare, that it remains the most flexible, right? You can choose any provider that accepts Medicare. However, one of the things that it lacks is that out-of-pocket spending cap, right, with original Medicare. That's why it could potentially lead to higher costs for beneficiaries without that supplement coverage, and that's where that Medicare supplement comes into play. So that being said, one other things to consider is that if you go with traditional Medicare, you typically have to add a separate Part D plan, right? Because a supplement, if you do purchase a supplement, it does not cover prescriptions. They're only covering what Medicare covers. So you could either go with original Medicare. That's it. Don't do nothing. Just take original Medicare. You can add a supplement to original Medicare to cover the gaps. Or you can do original Medicare along with a prescription drug plan. Or you can do original Medicare, a supplement plan, and a Part D plan, right? That gives you that whole picture, right? That gives you everything, right? Because you have original Medicare, that supplement that's covering the gaps of original Medicare, and then you do the Part D. And that's, again, one of the differences, because with these Medicare Advantage plans, you can do Part D integrated within that Advantage plan. So that's very nice for most people. They actually like that they don't have to go and pay extra for a prescription drug plan. So these are one of the things that you have to consider before looking into which option, right? Which one's the right one for you, right? How do you want to receive benefits moving forward, right? Do you want to have that freedom to go anywhere, or are you okay seeing in-network doctors, right? So now I would like to discuss a few scenarios I've seen over the past 2 weeks. I understand many of you are being bombarded with mail, but it's essential for you to review your mail, okay? Review that correspondence, right? Don't just throw it away. I've seen so many people throw away Medicare cards and very important notices coming from Medicare and the Social Security office. So for those that are not receiving Social Security benefits, you can expect to receive a quarterly invoice for your Part B premium. And only if it applies to you, you'll also have a Part A and IRMA charges included in that invoice. If you believe you've received an invoice and forgot to pay for your Part B and are not collecting Social Security, again, you're not collecting Social Security, right? Because if you're collecting Social Security, it typically comes out of your Social Security check. So these are for those people that don't collect Social Security and you feel that you forgot to pay an invoice or you haven't paid your Part B. My recommendation is that you create an account online with Medicare.gov, and there's something that's called Enroll in Easy Pay, and you can pay it directly there. You could pay your premiums online. You can see if there's a balance or just check it out, right? Create that account. It's free to create that account. So create the account. Make sure you don't have a balance, right? Because one gentleman that reached out this past week, unfortunately, his Part B got canceled and terminated for non-payment. And that is serious, very serious when I say this, because it's very hard to get it back. It's very hard to get it reinstated right away. A lot of people have to wait to get it reinstated, right? Now, Medicare does send you notices and things like this, but for those, we sometimes we live a very busy lifestyle and we missed it or we threw away, right? We threw away that important piece of mail. So again, Medicare.gov, and you can look at your balance under the Easy Pay, and you could pay it there directly. So my next scenario is of a gentleman who reached out, who is new to Medicare, and he received a notice that he has a Part B late filing charge. And he was under the understanding, right, that he would be subject to a penalty as he was covered under his employer plan. Now, generally, the late enrollment penalty is for Medicare Part B, and it does last for life as long as you have Part B coverage. Now, typically, if you've been on an employer plan, you get that penalty waived. Now, Medicare considers a large employer to be one with 20 or more full-time employees, and this is where it gets tricky for some people. If that employer is not considered a large employer, guess what? That plan through the employer no longer becomes credible. And that person could be subject to a penalty for not enrolling in Medicare. That's what happened to this gentleman that reached out to me. He was like, hey, I've been on this employer plan, so I should be fine. Well, unfortunately, that employer did not have 20 or more full-time employees in order for it to be credible. But if you feel that a mistake was made, right, you can appeal their decision. So today I'm going to let you know how to appeal. So these are some ways to appeal. You can request a reconsideration of Medicare Part B late enrollment penalty by using a form called 20033. This is a CMS form, 20033. If you guys are computer literate, you can go online. If you have an agent that you're working with, you can contact that agent. Again, that form is called the Medicare reconsideration request form, or follow the instructions on a penalty letter that you've received in the past. So if you know you've received this letter, they typically attach that form to that penalty letter. Again, it will give you instructions. It's to be used. It's form, I think 561. It's a request for reconsideration form. So again, you can appeal it if you feel that there was an error. I always tell, hey, there's nothing wrong with filling out this form. The worst that can happen is say, hey, no, it doesn't. You're going to get denied, or that's the worst that can happen. So there's nothing wrong with trying to appeal anything. And talking about appeals, one of the major things that I've been doing the past couple of weeks with a few of my clients is these IRMA charges, right? That IRMA charge is for high income beneficiaries. So for those that have a significant income, remember that Medicare goes back 2 years. So if you feel that they've charged this IRMA to you incorrectly, right? That you feel that something's wrong, that you did not make that money, you can, again, appeal this decision. Again, maybe you did make this money, but then you've experienced a significant decrease in your income and you think that you should no longer be subject to the IRMA charge. You can complete a form that's called a changing event form and submit it to Social Security directly. Okay, it's a very easy form. You can get it online. Like I just gave you the name of the forms. It's called an changing event. It's an IRMA charge that you can appeal to get that removed. Or if you want to get the late enrollment penalty, you feel that that was an error, you can fill out, there's 2 forms, CMS form 20033, which is the Medicare reconsideration request form, or you can use the Social Security form 561. But you should have everything. If you receive the penalty letter, everything will be there, giving you instructions on what to do. My recommendation is to speak to a licensed agent if you're already working with one. Please reach out to them. I'm sure that they'll be able to help you, or if not them, maybe they have an upline that might be able to help you with that. Or you can contact Social Security directly, right? Or Medicare at 1-800-MEDICARE to get more information on that. So I hope that I've answered a few questions, and if anybody has any concerns about this or I'm your agent, please reach out. Our number is 561-464-2273. That number again is 561-464-2273. Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.